morning, everyone. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Jim Rigsby, and I'm a practitioner here. And I have a few announcements to start off, but first I want to welcome you. It's so glad to have you here with us today, virtually via Facebook Live. And we just give you warmest blessings, and we are praying for you and your family today. So the announcements for today: in honor of the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, the Youth and Family Ministry is sponsoring a donation drive for the Cary Downtown Farmers Market. This is to assist with their child-oriented, hands-on educational activities each week. We are asking members to donate the following items: empty 2-liter bottles, empty 16-ounce or less water bottles, large and small paper plates, duct tape, cotton balls, large and small markers, glue and glue sticks, pom-poms, feathers, but no glitter. Thank you very much. If you have items to donate, please coordinate a drive-by drop-off with either Heather or Reverend Dusty. If you don't have time to shop, members of the Community Outreach Program will be ready to shop for you. Go to the bookstore and make a donation by cash, check, or credit card by Sunday, April 26th, and we'll be happy to pick up items for you. They also have a special youth-oriented initiative of turning T-shirts into reusable bags to replace the plastic bags now used at the market. And the use of them will be postponed. This will be postponed because of the current situation. But we will get together at some point in the future and we'll make these lovely T-shirt bags. They're very clever. More information will be available soon. The SUM conversation on religious diversity and inclusion is postponed. We will let you know when the new date is as events unfold. The combined transformational breath and miracles for all is canceled. The leadership training is postponed, and we will announce the new date later on. Join us on Sunday, March 29th, for our annual community town hall meeting immediately following the service at 12:15 via Zoom. We will send out the conference connection information this week. The March announcement sheet is available on the website. All right. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce Reverend Dusty Ripplemeyer.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to everyone out there who has tuned us in through the power of live streaming. Thank you very much. If this is your first time ever watching one of our services, I also welcome you. Thank you very much for including us in your day. Such an interesting time we're living in right now. I am just so grateful for this technology, for our ability to stay connected while we continue to stay as safe as we possibly can be. Normally we would have everyone greet each other. So the 6 of us are greeting each other right now. And it just gives me great pleasure to welcome to the podium our platform host of the day, licensed spiritual practitioner, Heather Abbott.
Good morning. So lovely to be here this morning physically and knowing that the community is all out there loving up on each other virtually. Our theme for 2020 is 2020 Spiritual Vision. Our March theme is Honoring the Divine Feminine in All. Ruth's talk title today is Divine Imagination. I'm now going to read the community's purpose statement. This is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. Now is our time for centering. I'd ask you to take a breath and ground yourself and allow these healing sounds to wash over you.
As the last of the sounds reverberate through the cells of your body, I invite you to bring your attention back into your bodies and into your rooms, and to remain turned within as I speak a word of invocation upon our service today, upon this divine appointment that God is having through and as each of us individually and collectively. With my eyes closed and my attention turned inward, I am acutely aware of the power and presence of God that is within me and surrounding me. I know that it is the very essence of my being. It is the very essence of peace, of joy, of creativity, of unconditional love, of freedom, and of abundance. I know that I am one with it, that it is that which created me, sustains me, fuels me, guides me, guards me, and supports me. And just as I know that this is my truth, I know that it is the truth of each and every person within the sound of my voice, each and every person on the planet. And it is from that place of unity that I bless our time together, calling it good and very, very good, even as it is just beginning. I bless Cindy Johnson and Jim Rigsby and Heather Abbott and Ruth Pulley for their presence here today, for supporting this service so that we can continue to support this community. I bless each and every person on the call, each and every person in our community, each and every person in the state, in the nation, and in the world. I bless all of the hospitals and the hospital administrators and the doctors and the nurses and the support personnel for all that they are doing at this time. I bless all of the world leaders, knowing that right where they are, the wisdom of God is, and that they are making the right and perfect decisions, not only for their own countries, but for all of us. I know that this service flows with grace and with ease, and we simply allow it to do so by joining together and saying, "And so it is." Amen. It is now my pleasure to welcome to the podium licensed spiritual practitioner and student of ministry, Jim Rigsby.
Hello again. It's time for the blessing of all faiths. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths as represented by this ceremony. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. And so it is. Thank you. The reading for today is from Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes says, "If creation is to take place, there must be a divine imagination which is spontaneous and a creative medium through which it acts. The creative medium is the law of mind." And so it is. So if you would just turn within with me as I speak this blessing. Just once again knowing that we are surrounded by this benevolent presence that I call Spirit, that it lives and breathes in every moment, that it lives and breathes through me, that it lives and breathes through each person, each being in this universe, and that we are all connected at all times, especially today. And I just speak a blessing out of gratitude for Ruth Pooley as she comes forward to deliver our message today, knowing that she is the perfect and right person to bring the message to us today, that we are inspired and changed forever in our hearts and in our minds. And I'm so grateful to bless Cindy Johnson as she comes forward with her gift of music, the songbird that she is, the wonderful talent that she shares with us that touches our heart and our minds. So just out of a great sense of gratitude, I let this be, and so it is. Now I'd like to introduce Cindy Johnson.
Thank you, Jim. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with the spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want a view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world, there's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. You will find in your mind there's a world of endless fascination. No more fun place to be than in your imagination. You can dream any dream. You can savor every situation. Life is there, is a sensational sensation. If you want to see magic lands, close your eyes and you will see one. Wanna be a dreamer, be one. Want to change the world, there's nothing to it. There is no place I know to compare with your imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to
Thank you, Cindy. That was lovely, lovely. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's having a good morning so far. We are rocking and rolling here this morning, and we're so glad to be able to be present with you. So before I start, talk on divine imagination, but I just have to tell you this little story because I'm a very vivid dreamer. I have been since I was a kid, and oftentimes spirit or whatever speaks to me through dreams, and I'll write them down. And so this is what I dreamed last night. This is kind of crazy. So I dreamed that I was all ready to come to speak, and I came here to the center, and I forgot to print out my talk. So when I got here, I had no talk. So I was very stressed and very anxious, and here I was on the stage, and there was no paper in front of me, and I had no idea what I was going to say. Hopefully this is not prophetic. So I opened my mouth in the dream, and all of a sudden, all of these words started coming out. These pretty cool, pretty insightful words. And then I began taking the microphone to the audience members, and they started speaking all these amazing, words. And it's like the whole talk, both myself and everyone that was in the audience contributed to it. And it was like, we already knew it. It was already within us. And so I say that to say what I'm going to talk about today is not a new idea per se, But I hope that it gives us kind of a pause and really to kind of evaluate some of these principles that we speak about and to kind of look at how we can take these principles and apply it to this point in time, to wherever we are, whether we're here in person or whether we're at our homes, to apply these principles at this moment in time. So our focus this month has been a closer look at the divine feminine. And so for our purposes today, we're going to take a closer look at the qualities of the divine feminine and how that shows up as this law of the creative universe. Now, this is beyond gender, and this doesn't say that, male and female present these qualities. These are qualities that are within us all. And so sometimes our limited human understanding and language, it kind of is hard to classify some of these energies and qualities. So our goal this month is to shed light on these qualities that we all have, whether we're boys or girls. So this idea of the divine feminine, or the creative power of Mother Earth, has really laid the foundations of cultures all over the world since the beginning of time. So one can liken the divine feminine to a powerful tree, if you can just imagine it, whose roots, or roots, as Dusty would say, whose roots flow deep in our conscious awareness, and then they branch out and manifesting everything that's in our life in the form of life as we know it. The divine feminine represents this blossoming potential that is within us all. So as far back as, for you historical scholars, Paleolithic, and I know that's a big word, Paleolithic culture, she was embodied as nature. She was the earth that gives us life, and she was connected to the unseen realm of the soul and spirit. Can you just feel it? So throughout time, we've been connected by this understanding of the divine feminine. Through time, we have been connected to it through the natural world, through our own creation. The divine feminine is literally the blueprint of life, that invisible thing that has always been present through intricate systems and experiences. She has been experienced as the law, that fundamental natural and creative force that the universe follows, from the galactic patterns of the stars to the tiniest of insects. This blueprint is present. So this image of the Great Mother, this image of the divine feminine, is not something that is just physically reflected, but instead it is this creative force and source that nurtures all of life. So this understanding, the law of divine creation and imagination, is what we're going to focus on today. So I want, wherever you are, now if you're driving, don't do this, but if you are sitting in the comfort of your own home and you have the ability to have a pen or piece of paper or something, or if you just want to use your own imagination, I want to talk a little bit about our teaching symbol, if you've ever seen it. So if you're in your home, you have a pencil, paper, I want you to kind of draw it. So it looks like a big V and then two lines that go straight across. So basically it divides into three sections, a top section, a middle section, and a bottom section. So many of you are aware of this, and if you've been anywhere in the center at all, that you know that this is our teaching symbol, and it's synonymous with religious science and science of mind, as we call it. So this we're going to work out today. It's literally the blueprint of a how-to exercise the power to create the life that we want. Are you ready? This one little symbol, okay? So the big joke, and if you've been here at all in classes or practitioner classes, or even been here at the center and listening to talks, is that the core concept of the science of mind, or religious science, can be summed up in 3 words. Now, I know this is very exciting for those who have struggled to explain this crazy church that you go to your family, to your friends, even the stranger in the grocery store that asks you what kind of church you go to. So now you've got a shortcut. All right, you ready? 3 words: seed, soil, plant. or mind, body, and soul. But for our purposes today, I like seed, soil, plant. So our focus today is going to be the soil, which is that middle section. If you've drawn the symbol, it's that middle portion. Now we'll touch on the top and bottom so we can get a bigger picture of what's going on. But that's what we're talking about, this creative, divine feminine force. Okay? And this is the life-giving creative aspect of the universe, so it's our center section. All right, so we're going to start from the top. So the top is the seed or mind, but for today's purposes, we're going to call it the seed. It is the thought, idea, or belief. Now, these thoughts, ideas, beliefs, they can be conscious thoughts, and they can be unconscious thoughts, those kind of habitual thought patterns that we go through our mind and we don't even realize it. So this conscious thought or unconscious thought gets impressed into the soil, just like if you're going to plant a seed in the soil. So the soil or soul aspect is the law. So this principle is that this is what gives life to the universe. Now, when I say law, I don't mean a punitive type of law like a right and wrong. But instead, it can be more aptly understood as a principle. Kind of like gravity is a principle, a universal principle. Whether I stand on this stool, which I'm not going to, and jump off, or if I'm on the top of a mountain and jump off, it works exactly the same, no matter where. It is subjective, receptive, it just does what, it just responds to what you do. Much like the home of this birthplace of creation, this feminine understanding. So the plant or body aspect of this metaphor that we're going with is the result of our creation. Now, this is the easy thing to see because this is exactly what we're seeing. So in your life, this is the experiences and the circumstances that you see in your life. In your garden, it's the plants that come up. So to bring it all together, our thoughts are placed into this law, this creative medium. And the creative process begins with this soul or divine mother. Our thoughts and beliefs and our ideas are impressed into it. The soul receives it, nurtures it, and gives life to it. Everybody with me? Yeah. I'm going to assume you're shaking your head. All right. So it does this without preference or without favorites. It can only create what we put into it. Now, this creative medium, this force, this soil, it doesn't have a mind of its own. It doesn't say, that was a really crazy idea or that was a really maladaptive belief. I'm just going to ignore that and I'm going to give you something different. That's not the way it works. And boy, do I wish it did work that way. But it doesn't. That would save me from a lot of crazy ideas and crazy thought patterns and just some really crazy decisions. But that's not how it works. Just like if you are in your garden and you have a cucumber seed, which I did plant yesterday, and you put it in the soil doesn't say, I'm not a big fan of the cucumber. I think I'm going to create a tomato. No, it doesn't work that way. What you put in is what you get every time, everywhere, no matter what. It's how it works. Whether we like it or not, this is how it works. So what is our role in this? What is our role in this whole process, this whole creative thing that we're talking about? Our role is to hold the beliefs and the ideas. Our role is to be conscious of the life and the things that we want to create. Our role is to be conscious of who and what we are, and to place those thoughts, place those ideas, place those beliefs into this soil, into this universal presence. Now, this can be good or bad, and we've talked about this. Not that there's good or bad, but I like to think of it as our ability to participate in this divine, feminine, creative energy. This is amazing. We have the power to participate in this universal life, this source, this creative aspect. We have the power. This divine feminine principle of the soil grounds us to our source. It is the connection between our thoughts and what we see. She bridges this middle aspect, this soil, this soul aspect. It bridges the gap between ideas and creation. So oftentimes we discount this kind of center section because there's nothing for us to do. So much of our lives are focused on doing instead of allowing. But it's our responsibility to be conduits of ideas and beliefs and to be consciously aware of the creative power of our thoughts. But this creative force operates without any effort on our part, whether we're aware of it or not. It is the nature. We can either create by default or by design. We say that a lot around here. But our call is to create by design, to understand that we do have the power. That we are partners in life, that life is not something that's happening to us, but instead it's something happening through us and through our power and of our beliefs and our thoughts. So Ernest Holmes reiterated this idea of our understanding of this divine feminine principle that we've been talking about this month and its purpose in creation. He said that the feminine principle is the universal soul. In the human, it is the subjective or subconscious intelligence. The universal medium or soul has been called the womb of nature and the Holy Mother because it is receptive to spirit and impregnated with divine ideas. He also states, if creation is to take place, there must be a divine imagination, which is a spontaneous creative medium through which it acts. This creative medium is the law of mind. So how can we do this? How can we open ourselves up to divine imagination and participate in this great law of mind? 3 steps. Everything is done in 3 steps. I mean, I could give a lot more steps, so it would be here for a while. But 3 steps, and these are some steps, if you've been around, that you may be familiar to you. And it's part of the steps of our affirmative prayer. And why I highlight these is because it works. This is how it works. So first, there's recognition. What's the old saying? Knowing is half the battle. In this instance, I'd say knowing is probably 95% of the battle. The awareness, understanding of this creative power and source that is infused in everything. This understanding that this power and presence that we speak of, this life animating force is in everything. It is not in this person and not in this person. It is everywhere. It is in every situation, everywhere, every person. So the call first is to just open our awareness. Secondly, there's unification. So once we're aware that, okay, I'm getting this idea that there's this one power and presence that gives life to everything. Then we have to understand that if it is everywhere, then it's in us. And it's in the person that we see in the grocery store. And it's the people that we see on the news. And it's the people that we see at work. It is everywhere. So that means that this creative force that gives life to everything we see gives life to us. It permeates every aspect of who and what we are, even when we forget. And those times where we may think thoughts that are not in alignment with who and what we are. Those times we may make decisions that are not in alignment with who we want to be. Those are times that we just forget. We forget who we are. We forget what connects us. So third, and the last step, is realization. And this realization is realization with a capital R. Through the embodiment of Source, we have the same ability to create because we're made of the same stuff. One of my favorite words that brings home to this understanding and also reveals my inner religious history nerd is this word homoousios. And this is a word that I actually have on a bracelet that I wear daily that reminds me of this. So homoousios is a Greek word that can be translated of one substance. Now, where you kind of see this word in history, especially in church history, is the Council of Nicaea, which was held in 325 AD. So this council was convened to talk about Christological doctrine. And there was a lot of controversy in that time about the Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit that we've heard about, like what was up with that, and how are they connected, and what was meant by that, and what was their relationship. So they came up with a word called homoousios, meaning same substance. In that historical context, that the Father and Son were made of the same substance. But in our context for today, it's a reminder that this power and presence that permeates the universe and us are of one substance. We are of the same substance. Through continued study and meditation and experience of this divine, we begin to see our relationship to and unity with this presence. That it's not something outside of us, but instead it is us, that we are the same substance, the same universal power that gives life to the wonders of nature is the same life force that beats our heart. Once again, looking to our very strong soil metaphor, I go through my garden and I look at the plants that are growing and nature and the animals, and they're just doing their thing. They know exactly what to do. They don't worry. They don't doubt. They don't second guess. They operate within the divine flow of this creative universe. It knows what to do. We just have to be open to the awareness of its presence, to the awareness of our unification with its presence, and the understanding that we too participate in the same creative force. So our call to action, or I guess maybe inaction, is to cease trying, cease strategizing or planning. And I'm a big planner. I like to know it. I want to know exactly when it's going to happen. I want to know what's going to happen if it doesn't happen and how I'm going to respond. But the call is to put that aside and to know that the receptive, powerful nature of this divine feminine is at work, manifesting the impress of our embodied personal truth. And it takes a lot of strength to be still and know. It's that stillness that we feel like we're not doing anything and we need to do something, but that's where the real power is. The thing that makes the grass grow, the thing that gives to all of life itself, is found in that presence. So our job, and I would assert our only job, is to practice with mindfulness and intention to fully recognize that our thoughts and beliefs have real power. They're not just words that roll around in our brains. And I would say this time more than ever to understand that our thoughts have power, that we have the ability to put into this universal flow exactly what we want to experience, that we are co-creators of our life. We are not victims of it. It becomes our work to honestly look at the dialogue that's running through your head. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I have some crazy stuff that is rolling around in my head. But our work is oftentimes to kind of take a look at these habitual thought patterns. A lot of times they have the same theme, and it's fear, lack, anxiety. At least mine do. So we must make a daily choice. And sometimes for me, it is a minute-by-minute choice to take control of where we put our focus and attention. Because that's what's going to show up in our lives. Because that is how this universal creative force, divine feminine force works. It's those things that will show up in our lives, those things that we put attention to, those things we put focus on. We will attract at the level that we are vibrating or operating. That is just how it works. So your homework this week is to pay attention. Pay attention to the thoughts. Pay attention to the beliefs, that internal monologue that sometimes goes on rerun over and over again. Because it's reflective Is it reflective to the life that you want to create? Are the thoughts you're thinking, is this what you want outpictured in your life? And if it's not, the really, really cool thing is, once you become aware of it, we can always choose again. Within this power and presence, we have infinite amount of do-overs, which is really a wonderful thought. That when we catch ourselves, we can choose again. And accepting and honoring the divine feminine within, we can recognize our power to manifest, nurture, and create a life that is truly amazing. So in your home, wherever you're at, I would like everyone to repeat after me. Okay? This is our mantra for this week. Okay? Everybody take a breath. Accepting and honoring the divine feminine within.
Accepting and honoring the divine feminine within.
I recognize my power to manifest, nurture, and create.
I recognize my power to
Nurture, and create. So once again, I'll say it for everyone, and we can collectively say it together. Accepting and honoring the divine feminine within, I recognize my power to manifest, nurture, and create a life that is truly amazing. And so it is.
So it is.
So I invite you just in this moment just to take a deep breath wherever you may be. And for some of us, it may be our first deep breath this week. And I'll invite us to start a new trend of deep breathing. To breathe into this moment knowing that there is one power and presence, knowing this power, this presence, this universal force, this animating power, whatever you want to call it, you know what it is, you can feel it. It's in everything. And we are of the same substance. So from knowing that we are the same substance to really feeling that, I speak a word in this moment. Understanding that we, within each of us, have this power to create. That we do it every day, whether we're aware of it or not. But I know within us there's this desire to create an experience of love, to create an experience of peace, to create an experience of community. That the outpicturing of our lives is reflective of the true and the good and the beautiful. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this understanding. I'm grateful for the ability to stop, assess my own thoughts, and choose again when I need to. So I release these words. I release these words because they do have power. That they are not just vowels and consonants slammed together in a sentence, but instead they have power. That the belief behind these words has power. And so I release them into this soil, into this creative law, into this divine feminine aspect of the one. And knowing that they will be seen even as they are spoken. And so it is.
It's now time for our conscious giving. And so I just invite everyone to turn within for a moment and to really reflect on all of the ways that we are truly abundant in our lives. And to know that as we are willing to share of some of that abundance, we powerfully step into the flow of life. That giving and receiving are one and the same. We can't have one without the other. I'm grateful for these gifts, however big or small, knowing that they assist this community to continue to do the work that we are doing, to continue to be a beacon of light and love and warmth in the Greater Triangle area, to continue to provide the resources and tools to be on this spiritual journey in a really powerful way. I know that these gifts give back to the giver and increase the attitude of sufficiency on the planet. Please repeat after me. I am grateful for all that I receive.
I am grateful for all that I receive,
And I'm grateful for all that I may give.
and I'm grateful for all that I may give.
As Ruth said, there are 3 ways to do everything. And there are 3 ways for you to be able to continue to support this community financially. And the first is that you could write a check, and then you could send that check to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living, 4000 Bearcat Way, Morrisville, North Carolina, 27560. You could also go to our website at trianglecsl.org and use the Give button to be able to make your offering through our website. And lastly, you could take out your phone, and you can use this amazing technology called Text to Give, where you simply call text to 919-230-8445 and follow the prompts that your phone gives you in order to be able to give your offering in that manner. I am, as I said before, really grateful for all of these gifts. Thank you so very much. And while you're doing that, please keep your computers turned up so that you can listen to the beautiful sounds of Cindy Johnson.
Hi, friends. I just want to say I'm glad you tuned in today and that we love you. And I want to remind you that all is well. And this is a great song to remember as you go through your week. Standing in the middle of a miracle, standing in the middle of a miracle, standing in the middle of a miracle right now. Funny how it happens when your feel is full, anything and everything is possible. Standing in the middle of a miracle right now. I have walked through the desert, I have cried through the night, spent my life wearing blinders, could not see the light. Then one day I surrendered, and I fell to my knees. Heard there's whispering, there's magic in everything you see. And we're standing in the middle of a miracle, standing in the middle of a miracle, standing in the middle of a miracle right now. Funny how it happens when your heart is full, anything and everything is possible. Standing in the middle of a miracle right now. We beg and plead like we're paupers, when in fact our lives are rich. It's like sitting in the darkness, not knowing there's a switch. And we're we're standing in the middle of a miracle, standing in the middle of a miracle, standing in the middle of a miracle right now. Funny how it happens when your heart is full. Anything and everything is possible. Standing in the middle of a miracle right now. This sacred journey from life to death. This very moment. This very breath. And we're standing in the middle of a miracle, standing in the middle of a miracle, standing in the middle of a miracle right now. Funny how it happens when your heart is full. Anything and everything is possible. Standing in the middle of a miracle right now. Oh, we're standing in the middle of a miracle, standing in the middle of a miracle, standing in the middle of a miracle right now. Funny how it happens when your heart is full. Anything and everything is possible. Standing in the middle of a miracle right now. Standing in the middle of a miracle. We're standing in the middle of a
Was a catchy little tune I'd never heard before. Thank you very much, Cindy. I have one last quick announcement, and that is we would love to pray with you. Reverend Tom has sent out to everyone on the abundance call list an email this morning. He is inviting everyone on that list to send their prayer requests to him. He will then compile them and send them to me, and I will post them on Slack, just as though we were getting them off the communication cards, so that all of the practitioners and the ministers can pray those prayers throughout the week. If you are not on that abundance call list, please send me an email, and I will make sure that you get on the prayer list for this week. Also, you can send an email to any one of the practitioners if you would like them to pray for you more privately and not being on that list, or if you would like a phone call from them so that they can connect with you. We are here for you, and we want you to know that. And however you can, please connect with one of us, all of the ecclesiastical arm of this lovely community. Please know that we are here and we are available for you throughout this time. Jim.
So wherever you are, except if you're driving, please stand up and let's do our March affirmation together. It's a call and response. I am a being of love and light.
I am a being of love and light.
Divine feminine energy flows through me.
Divine feminine energy flows through me.
Through it, I experience receiving and radiating love.
Through it, I experience and radiating love.
Accepting and honoring the divine feminine within,
Accepting and honoring the divine feminine within,
I recognize my power to manifest, nurture, and create community.
I recognize my power to
Manifest, nurture, and
nurture,
create community. I invoke the power of the divine feminine within me
I invoke the power of the divine feminine within me
and unleash its fierce, loving givingness in my life now.
and unleash its fierce and
Loving givingness in my life now.
Right now.
And so it
And
is.
so it is.
So if you would just turn within one last time as we conclude our service today. I'm just grateful. Grateful for community, for the message, for the love of this community, for the love of this world, the love that Spirit brings in every situation. Knowing that we are all protected, we are all blessed, we continue to receive the blessings of this universe, caring for one another and loving one another in every situation. So I just simply know that everything everyone needs is given to them with ease and with grace. And we just say together, and so it is. Have a great week, everyone. We look forward to seeing you next week.